This is the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour.
Supported by Albertsons
And
Omni Hotels and Resorts.
brought to you by
Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Choose VA. Veterans get the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
now your hosts, Shannon Gross and Brad Sham.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Victory Tuesday. Victory Tuesday. Woo! On the Cowboys Hour tonight from the Legends Lounge at the Star. This is
Cozy.
I like it.
I do too.
Don't you like it?
It's nice.
It's intimate.
Very intimate.
It's intimate.
And scenic. Look at the views.
And we can look right out at that guard who is guarding those practice fields. That security guard, by golly, no gopher is going to get by him. And there's a band coming out to practice. We've got a lot going on. And so we're in a smaller room for those of you who are listening on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Thank you very much. Or watching us in these little you're not watching us in these little black boxes, but we're watching you, and you, sir, we'd appreciate if you didn't do that anymore, all right, during at least the next hour. On the Dallas Cowboys intrawebs on DallasCowboys.com, whenever you watch it. Thank you for joining us. Normally, we are A, on Monday night. Everybody was a little busy last night. B, we're normally, this year, if there's any such thing as normal, in the South Concourse of the Ford Center, which is where we'll be back next Monday night. Something else was going on there tonight. I think it had to do with that band that was marching through, but anyway, someone else had dibs and on the Tuesday night. So here we are in the Legends Lounge, and I feel like we're opening for Sinatra or something. This is pretty good. And delighted to have as our special guest the versatile Cowboys receiver, number 1, Cedric Wilson. Thank you very much.
Sid. Toe drag Sid.
Thanks for having me.
Yo, thank you for coming. And only the people in the intimate Legends Lounge know, until I tell everybody, that each of us, Shannon and I and our guest, each has a couple of little boxes that our director of technical wizardry, Ted Nichols-Payne, sets up for us. One of them has the microphone plugged into it with a little on-off switch, and the bigger box on the bottom has the headphone piece plugged into it. See how I did that? Mm-hmm. And on that box, there's a dial.
It's a volume.
Which allows us to control our own volume in our headset. And we know that now because Cedric and I both had them turned way up. Yeah. And when the music started, Cedric and I went, whoa! And so now, Shannon, we can't hear a thing you say because of that. But that was our fault.
It's not important.
No, it
comes
will be.
out of my mouth.
No, certainly will be. So it's Victory Tuesday, everybody. How about that game last night?
How about them Cowboys?
How about that? Okay, Sed, did you see that coming?
See what coming?
41-21. I mean, you dominated them pretty much. And I will say, you feel free to agree or not, but I thought, especially after Trayvon Diggs ran that interception back in the third quarter, their whole body language said, I think we're done.
Everything was clicking last night for sure, and I mean, we felt it. We felt it back at AT&T, and I feel like the team fed off of it, and everybody made a play when it was their time to,
including you.
Yeah, I did. I mean, when it came to me, I felt like everything slowed down for a second, but we practiced it. So right over here where we're looking over our left shoulder.
Right there.
We practiced it, and when it happened, we celebrated like we do in practice.
Now, you were involved in a number of plays that I want to talk about individually, then we'll talk a little bit about the team aspect of it. But the one play that not very many of you could have even come close to making was the one down the sideline that they ruled you out of bounds. I think you were out of bounds, actually. But probably Dak's fault for not bringing the ball back into the field more a little, wasn't it?
I mean, it's never the quarterback's fault.
Okay,
It's
good. Okay,
never
good.
the quarterback's
Good,
fault.
good. Now that's the old quarterback in you talking,
Yeah,
right?
never the quarterback's fault. I probably should have just saved some more room on the sideline, and it would have been a great catch and a completion.
You had 2 defenders on you, if I recall.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the play.
Do you
yet.
remember, Shannon? Didn't he have 2 on him?
I don't remember.
I think I know the corner had pretty good coverage. I think a safety came over. Anyway, you're in a crowd. When that ball's in the air, do you think, oh, I got this?
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the ball and just deciding how I'm going to get it. And when it got there, I just put my hands on it.
Now, none of us in this room, I'm going way out on a limb. If I offend anybody here, I'll apologize in advance. None of us in this room is ever going to know what it's like to run down the sideline in a crowd and think, oh, yeah, I'm going to get this. I just have to know what to keep in bounds, and I got this. Is there a thought process? Is it active going through your mind about watch your toes, watch your leg, or is it just instinct by this time?
It should be probably instinct by this time. I mean, every ball that I see that's in my vicinity, I'm thinking, obviously, I'm going to catch it. I don't really think people run around and their heads are about to drop it. But, no, I feel like it's just preparation. I mean, everybody's good at what they do, and mine just happens to be running and catching. And when Dak threw the ball, I knew it was coming to me, like I can tell when he's looking, and I just put my hands on it and squeeze it and hold on.
And how about your feet and your legs and when you're in proximity to the sideline and all that? Are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, we practice it, too. We practice the sideline, the toe drag with the receiver coaches. And, I mean, it comes down to preparation, but at the same time, you got to, like I said, you got to save yourself on the sideline. But, yeah, we definitely practice it.
All right, let's talk about the touchdown now. Your first touchdown of the year. I haven't gone back and looked at that play a lot, but several people said, well, he was open earlier. He should have just thrown it to him earlier. He just made it more dramatic by waiting until the very end and making you work to come open. Walk us through that play.
I mean, I'm not gonna say the play call, but I feel like the coverage that they just gave us drew him to start with the left side, and once it wasn't there, then it turns into a scramble drill, which we practice also. And I'm not really sure. I don't think I would have been open at the start of the play, just based off what the coverage was. So when he did roll to my side, I knew I was the only one over there, and I just had to figure out a way to get around Slay.
Shannon, just before you came in, Cedric and I were talking. I said, Babe Laufenberg said on the radio broadcast last night, be sure you ask Cedric to talk about when they asked him to block the defensive end, which I guess was on the 4th and 1, that was a touchdown that they didn't give him, but that's another movie. Why are you blocking a defensive end? Who schemed that up?
I mean, it's just a play call. I mean, we only have 11 people, so everybody's got to contribute. And on that play, that's just that's just my position's block. And tight end, I think the tight end has the other end, and I have to get this one.
And everybody else is pinching down?
Yep. So, I mean, it's either I go block the end or another tight end has to do it. So,
well, how about another tight end doing it? You're a wide receiver. You don't need to be blocking defensive ends.
I mean, this is all in the scheme. They maybe could have thought a pass was coming to slow down a little bit, but no, I just block the end, do my job so Dak could get in.
All right.
You're talking about scheme right now. I feel like a lot of people are talking about Coach Moore, Kellen Moore, about how he's scheming things different. Is he really scheming things different this year, or are people just noticing it? Do y'all have, these big new extravagant packages, or is it just that the success on the field is drawing more attention to what you guys are doing this year?
I mean, no, I don't. I think he's prepared always the same. He has all of his weapons back, I feel like. I mean, we were a pretty hurt team last year. And, I mean, a lot of the positions, but probably I think the receivers were the only position that wasn't hurting. So I feel like he just has all his weapons back, and we're running the offense to the best of our ability, and just like he's calling it to the best of his.
And we were talking before we went on the air about the versatility. So many of you can do so many things. And you've stepped in Michael Gallup's absence, and it doesn't look like there's anything missing. How do you stay ready for that? I know you can talk about next man up, but talking about it and doing it are different things.
I mean, shoot, I go out there, man, in practice. I feel like I've been obviously here for a while, going on year 4, and everything you do out at practice is gonna relate in the game. And when Cooper, Gallup, or CD can't go, then I have to be the one to go, and that's the role that I played for. I mean, a short amount of time, and then I got my opportunity. But just like when Gallup comes back, if he's the one to go in and he plays and he gets tired, then I'm going to be ready to go once again. And I feel like that's the group that we've built with CD, Noah, Coop, me, and MG, that we all can go at any position at any time. And I feel like that's what makes our receiving core different.
You mentioned those guys, the receiving core. Mm-hmm. Receivers, Brad, I don't know if you know this, but receivers have been known to be very boisterous and flamboyant.
I'd read that.
Yes.
I'd read that. So, flamboyant. I'd read that.
Yes. But this group, man, you're really quiet and soft-spoken, and so is Amari, and so is MG, and so is Noah, and CD. Do you guys talk trash out on the field, or you guys just are y'all as quiet as you are in public out on the field?
I mean, I feel like we more so joke and talk trash to each other.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part of it. Or we'll play with the DBs out at practice. But no, yeah, and I don't think off the field none of us are just loud, outgoing people. Everybody's pretty chilled, even just chilling at their own house.
Because we saw, if you get Coop riled up, we saw on Hard Knocks where, he got after it with Trayvon, and then he had to apologize because he said it was Dak's fault. That's as worked up as I've ever seen him get. But you guys just handle your business and kind of go on about your day, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're all pretty mellow guys, soft spoken, but at the end of the day, we're still competitive athletes. And I mean, when the switch needs to be turned on to get argumentative, we definitely can do it.
Cold-blooded.
When the juices get flowing in practice, is there a defensive back on this team you particularly enjoy getting into it with verbally?
I mean, me, I don't really get into it verbally with any guys. I'll just be like, all right, you got it, and I just go get ready for the next play. But just the guys that get riled up at practice they're usually the funny guys in the locker room, and they're usually the funny ones and then the mad ones. So.
And the mad ones, all right. Yeah. Well, we have things to uncover. I think I know why Cedric is so mellow besides having that personality, and we're going to get into that when we come back. We're delighted to have Cedric Wilson with us on the Cowboys Hour this evening. We're in the Legends Lounge at the Star, and delighted to have all of you with us. Would you like to do the honors, sir?
I would love to do the first live read here on the show, Brad. When it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys.
And by Lou Casey, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And we'll be right back with Cedric Wilson on the Cowboys Hour.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
It's Victory Tuesday on the Cowboys Hour. I'm Brad Sham with Shannon Gross and our special guest, Cowboys receiver Cedric Wilson, number one. Did you have to pay, or did you get paid to give up 11 and get back into 1?
No, it was a pretty smooth transition. Michael wanted 11 and I wanted 1. So.
Yeah, you wanted 1.
Yeah, I wanted 1.
Did you wear that at Boise?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you didn't make him buy it, the 11?
No.
Oh, man.
Why, Ced?
Could have got some cabbage out of there.
It wasn't significant to me. It's significant to him. The 1 is more of my thing.
1 looks good on you, by the way.
Yeah,
It
appreciate
does.
you.
It makes
No,
you
it
look
does.
really thin, though, but it makes you look fast.
You know what? Hey, Shannon.
Look
he's
fast.
He's really thin.
Is he?
Yeah. Anyway, he didn't need that. But you could have made something. He wanted 11.
Could have got a trip or something out of the deal.
You know, dinners for a month or something.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to him about it. Hopefully
Okay,
take
good.
it
All right, good. Very good. I mentioned as we were going into the break that I think I know why, besides having a very calm demeanor, why Cedric is kind of like he is. And so I want to revisit your travel log because I think it's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. Team captain at Boise, 6th round pick here, and then missed basically 2 years because of injuries. And I'm wondering if, as you are like halfway through 2019 and you're missing your 2nd straight year, you've been a pro for 2 years, you haven't played yet, are you thinking, I'm wondering if this is ever going to really happen?
No, I never really thought to the point where this is ever going to happen. More so of like, when am I going to get the chance to do it? And obviously injury was holding me back, and I had to get stronger. And I feel like, honestly, I had to mature at the position. So I feel like the injuries actually helped me slow down until I was fully ready for the opportunity. And once it came, all the hard work paid off.
So your 2nd year of being injured, they draft Gallup. Right.
No, we was drafted the same
Oh,
year.
you drafted the same year. Okay. So he's getting on the field. And then 2 years ago, here comes CD. Mm-hmm. And did you ever want to say, excuse me, while y'all are spending these draft choices on people, don't forget about old Cedric over here.
Right. No, I know the business at the same time. The best ability is availability. And, I wasn't available, so that would be wrong for me to look at them to not go find someone to play when I couldn't.
Another one of the great abilities besides availability is the ability to change and learn. Mm-hmm. Could you describe the ways you think you have improved as a football player since the day you walked in here as a rookie?
The biggest one, probably strength, just being in the weight room and actually wanting to do it, because it's a difference between just going in there and knocking out the required things, but actually doing it with a purpose and seeing the changes that it was doing for me, and then putting in the off-the-field work that most of us didn't really get to do during college. And, especially receiver, I didn't play it my whole life. I started it when I got to college, so I was really actually just new at the position. And I feel like those 2 years definitely, like, watching guys come through here like Bees, Hearns, Cooper, Amari Cooper getting here, just watching them guys work, and I'm like, okay, I understand what this position takes, and then just trying to craft it in my own way of what my body can do.
And you were quarterback in high school, right?
Yes.
So what was that conversation like going into college? Did you have, when you were recruited, did they recruit you as a quarterback? Did they want you to switch to receiver? And what were those conversations like?
Yeah, actually, I went to junior college straight out of high school, signed as a quarterback, and was probably going to be the quarterback of the team that year. Mm-hmm. But I switched, I think, like 2 weeks before the season. I was like, I just want to play receiver.
Wait, that was your idea?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to my coach, Coach Mirando. I went to talk to him, and I was just like, I think I want to play receiver. And he was like, what? He was like, this close to
Yeah.
the season, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay, well, give it a shot. And then I think my first year at receiver, I was like 2 yards shy of 1,000 at JUCO. So he was like, from that point on, he was like, yeah, you're pretty good at this. Let's work for it. And I mean, the rest was history.
Very few high-level competitive athletes are begging out of playing
Yes.
quarterback.
Why?
What made you do that?
I mean, kind of just the like the overall quarterback in school wasn't really meshing. Like, let's do all this schoolwork and play quarterback. 'Cause quarterback is a full-time job. And then also, I wanted to play baseball at junior college, and throwing the football and throwing the baseball was getting tough on the shoulder.
Were you a pitcher?
I played short and then closed pitch. Yes.
So, were you as good a baseball player as a football player?
I think so, yes. The only thing that really held me back from baseball is I didn't know I needed contacts till like my sophomore year of high school.
Wow, wow! But you were still playing baseball when you got contacts.
Yes.
Did anyone ever mention to you that baseball players last a lot longer than football players and almost never get hit?
Yeah, I heard it from my dad probably every day.
What did he say? What were those conversations?
I mean, he was just like, he never really told me that he wanted me to play baseball, but I could tell because, he battled through injuries when he played, and he was just like, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck and play longer if you choose to swing the bat. And I was just like, okay. But in the back of my head, I'm like, I want to do what you're doing.
Could you hit a curve?
I could get it in play where I would be fast enough to get to first.
How's the old arm? You still can you still wing it?
Yeah, I think I can still wing it. I think I got we were doing a little fun day in there as a team, and I think I got like an 84 on the speedometer or something like that.
Nice.
Really?
Without throwing it in a couple of years, I still got a little in there.
Well, I was not exactly not throwing it because I believe you were 1 for 2 passing the ball last year. Is that right? Wasn't it last year you threw the ball to Dak for a touchdown?
I think I threw it to Dak, and then I threw one to TP. So I think I was 2 for 2.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Yeah.
2 for 2. So you can still throw a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still
Both touchdowns?
No, I don't think. No, Tony's wasn't. The only Dak's was.
Okay. Oh, that's what made me think of that. That's what made me think of that. So, are you still a baseball fan?
Yeah. I like to go to the baseball games.
You don't watch them? You
not
watch the
on TV.
playoffs or World Series or anything?
Every sport I watch during the playoffs because that's the best time to watch sports. So that's usually when I catch it because I don't know how many games they play. Like
162.
Yeah.
162.
I don't think I could watch 162.
Yeah, I broadcast that for 3 years. That's a long year. That's a serious commitment right there.
Who'd you grow up a fan of, baseball team?
Overall, a Yankees fan, but based off of where I lived, I was an Oakland A's fan once. Then I was a Pirates fan. So, and then overall just the Yankees, but obviously location-wise, that was my team.
And how about football?
I was always the biggest fan of Minnesota, the purple uniforms, and then Randy Moss.
Oh,
so that was my favorite team growing up.
So I want to go back to when you switch in junior college from quarterback to receiver. Mm-hmm. And at that point, are you thinking that you're going to play in the NFL someday?
Yeah, that was, at that moment, that was the decision I had to make when my first year ended. Like, okay, are you going to stick with football or baseball? Because now it's really time to choose. And, I had a lot of advice from my coach at the time. That's pretty much who was helping me. And he was like, a lot of people don't do what you just did their first year of playing this position. So at that moment on, that's the dream I was chasing, yes.
And now I want to talk about punt returning. Because there isn't anything in baseball like standing and looking up into the sky for a ball to drop out while people run at you. What was the genesis of your deciding to do that?
More so opportunity was not really me like, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do. Like, coach was like, do you do punt return? And I was just like, yeah, I do it. I had never done it.
Had you ever caught a punt at that point?
Yeah, I caught like 2 at JUCO, like 2 or 3 at Boise. I try to do it whenever it's asked of me. It's fun. It's another opportunity for a touch. And I think it does relate kind of to baseball, especially when the sun's out there. looking for a football is a lot easier looking for a baseball.
Oh, fair, right? That's fair enough. So John Fossil told us reporters something interesting today, and that because he was asked, how do you decide when Cedric is going to return to punt and when CD is going to return to punt? And he said, well, most of the time they decide, that he leaves it up to you guys. So how does that work? Who takes the lead? How do you decide who's going to return a given punt?
I think a lot of things go into it. Obviously, like the flow of the game. Like if CD's in a lot and tired, then that's a no-brainer. All right, you just go get it. But if we're both fresh and it's really who really wants to go out there and do it, or who just because flow of the game. You're like, I feel like I want to be in the game. I'm like, oh, let me get it. And if he feels like he needs to be a part of the game, he'll be like, oh, let me get it. So we're not really fighting for it out there. It's usually, you want it, sure, or I'll take it.
But there have to be times. What I just heard was there are times when you would both like to go out and do it.
Oh, yeah. We both always want the ball in our hand. I feel like that's the
rock, paper, scissors.
Maybe we should use rock, paper, scissors.
Shannon's doing rock, paper, scissors over here. But which of you, if you both want it, who gets to decide?
Usually one of us. Whoever says it first, like, oh, you got it. It doesn't. It's no big debate about it. But we usually know who's going to do it way before the down even comes up. Like before the defense goes out there, it's like, you got it this series? Sure, yeah, I got it. Or no, you can take it.
You have siblings?
Yes, a lot of them.
Did it go like that when you were trying to decide things growing up? You want this? Yeah, sure. No, you can have it. No, it's okay. That's fine.
I'm the older sibling, so it was usually asking me, like, oh, can I have this? And I was always having to say sure.
Yeah, there we go.
I didn't have to hear it. Nope. But, it's definitely much harder with siblings than just friends.
Okay. More on choosing who returns the punts and other goodies with our special guest, Cedric Wilson, on the Cowboys Hour this evening.
Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys.
We'll be right back.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
And welcome back to the Legends Lounge at the Star in Frisco. And we have the legend that is Cedric Wilson with us this evening on the Cowboys Hour. And even though we moved from the South Concourse of the Ford Center, the microphone for the audience moved with us. So in the next segment, if any of you have questions for Cedric, that microphone will be out there and ready to go. And remember, we are on a tape delay, so we're just fully protected at all. Fully protected at all times. So, Ced, that game last night, it's Victory Tuesday, by the way. The Cowboys beat the Eagles last night. I don't know if any of you heard.
I don't know if they just beat them, Brad. I think they
beat them up.
They
beat them up. And that's why I asked you at the beginning, did you see that coming? Because that was pretty convincing. But the whole thing didn't feel like just another regular season game. Maybe it was because you had the first two on the road and now you're home. Maybe it was the first time the place has been full since 2 years ago, although there were fans. I don't know what the exact reason was. And I have a sneaking suspicion that it might have something to do with what it feels like you're building as a team. Mm-hmm. And so I'm interested in your thoughts about all of that.
I think especially after the Tampa week and we're coming off that and how we lost, I feel like the team just looked at one another and was like, okay, I mean, if this is a defending Super Bowl team and how we just played them, why not us? Why can't we go out there and put our best foot forward every week? And, I mean, Coach preaches momentum every week. He said we're going to go out to L.A. It's going to be their home opener. They're going to have all the energy. They're coming off a win. And it's up to us to take that momentum. And we came out of that dogfight because that was a great team and that was a great win to transition to this week as a conference game on Monday night at our home. I mean, it wasn't a better scenery to do it. And I feel like everything was hitting on all cylinders. Obviously, there was ups and downs in the games. Well, what's going to happen? But I feel like that was not the best that we could play, but that was the best we played so far.
Does it feel like there's something brewing? Or is it just too early to say that?
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to say that. And, I mean, we just got to go 1 week at a time. We know what we're going for, but at the same time, I mean, we have 17 stepping stones before we even get to the dance.
No, I'm not putting you in there yet. I'm not.
Right.
I don't want. I mean, I'm a huge believer in the journey. Enjoy the journey.
Right.
The energy, just being around the team, being on the field on game day, the warm up, the locker room, the vibe, even on the road feels different this year. There's a lot of you got some dogs on defense now. You got a lot of young guys that don't know they don't know what they don't know, right? It just, to me, the energy feels different. Is there a different feel with the energy this year as opposed to previous years?
I mean, yes, because I feel like it was built out in April when everybody was coming together. All the draft picks that just got drafted and everybody was coming in. Because I think this is probably the biggest percentage of our team being new this year. Mm-hmm. So everybody had to bond and get to know each other. And once we did that over the breaks of people coming from other teams that we played against, it was like, oh, I remember this game, talking trash in the locker room about the previous games. I felt that built our team to go out there and fight for one another because we fight every day against each other. And I feel like that was the biggest difference. Like he said, this is a young team. I feel like we're young from top to bottom. In the previous years, we had a lot of vets that were teaching the way of the Cowboy way, and that obviously rubbed off on the older guys now, and everybody's just meshing together and going in one direction.
It's interesting to me to hear you say that after the Tampa game, you kind of looked at each other and said, oh, wait, we can do this. Because I think that's what a lot of fans think. Mm-hmm. They see the game and they say, oh, wait, they can play with them. And sometimes it's surprising to me to find out that you guys are thinking the same thing, having the same reaction when you come off the field with that team.
Yes. I mean, it's because, like last year, we were getting in games that we thought, like, oh, we could definitely get this done. But we were just shorthanded or getting, like, all the injuries, like I said. which the team that we knew we had last year, I feel like was pretty much the same team. I mean, I feel like defense obviously changed, but offensive-wise, we had the same team that we felt like we could have did it last year. So it all worked together, that we had a whole nother off season to work together and then come out here and do it this year.
So 2 things about coming off this game are interesting to me. I'd like to hear your thoughts. One is, I think I might have mentioned this to you, Coach McCarthy was asked about how you teach a team to handle success, because it is you guys on your side of the ball, as you said, most of you have been together for a good period of time. The other side of the ball, they're still gelling, and a bunch of them, as you pointed out, are rookies, and they've never done this at this level. What is there to learn about how even this league is and how to stay on an even keel no matter how difficult the loss or how exhilarating the win? Well, how do you gauge the importance of that?
It's very important, obviously, to stay neutral. We have the mental health meeting every day, just stay neutral in every aspect of life in general.
You have that every day, a mental health meeting?
No, every week, once a week.
Every week?
Yeah, once a week.
Okay,
So
very cool.
I feel like if you can be neutral in your day-to-day life, football will come naturally because we've all been doing it for so long. And I feel like most of the people in the NFL obviously were stars at their college, so you had at least some regulation of being in the spotlight on a smaller scale. But we all help each other. I feel like as a team, especially with the receivers, we don't really do much. We're a calm group of guys. You leave work, most of us going home, and then you come back to work and laughing with each other. And I don't feel like there's not really much outside noise that gets to us. And I feel like that's every other position too as well.
Shannon, you're right. This is unlike any other group of receivers that anybody's ever seen.
I don't believe that these guys exist like that. But it's true.
And here's a bunch of them all under one roof.
Right.
It's astounding.
Unbelievable.
All right, here's the other thing I want to ask you. You have a noon game Sunday against a team, by the way, that currently leads the league in every defensive category. They're averaging giving up 10 points a game. So whether it was Texas Stadium or AT&T Stadium, the greatest, how can I be diplomatic about saying this? The greatest energy that comes from the fans is rarely seen at noon games.
Very diplomatic.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
That was a good way.
Do you even anticipate that? What do you think that'll be like coming off Monday night? I mean, you've had 2 out of 3 primetime games, and now you're going to have a noon game. And most people still are trying to decide between a Bloody Mary and a mimosa, around here.
I think I can't really remember a time that I've been to AT&T Stadium, obviously through COVID, the situation of season last year.
Right.
But other than that, I don't think I've been there, and it's been dull. Obviously, that's hard. I mean, it's easy for me to say. I went to Boise State.
Yeah, may it never happen. Yeah.
I went to Boise State, and I feel like the preseason crowds at AT&T are bigger than what I played in front of. So I don't really think it's a big drop-off because whether there's one person in there or 100,000, our fans yell every time we do something good and every time we need them to yell.
Very optimistic.
Yes.
Your lips to God's ears. What have you got? Have you got anything on your sheet there?
Yeah, you know
fancy
what?
Stuff
Let's
for
do
Cedric?
this. I enjoyed this last week.
I did too.
Thanks for turning this over to me for just a second. And
No,
letting
I
me
want you to take all the time you want.
entertain myself for a minute. I want to do something that we did last week with Basham, and this is what Wikipedia says. And you tell me whether this is true or not. I'll run through a few facts, and then you let me know if Wikipedia is right. Because we know that everything that's on the internet is true these days, right?
Probably not.
All right, so Wikipedia says that you attended White Station High School in Memphis, Tennessee.
Fact. True.
Okay. You played quarterback for the football team. Is that true?
At high school?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And as a senior, you were named the starter, registering 731 yards passing, 7 passing touchdowns, 268 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 5 interceptions.
In my senior year?
That's what it says.
I don't feel like those stats are right.
Okay,
but
that's wrong. All right. College, you attended Coffeyville Community College.
In Kansas.
In Kansas.
Kansas?
Wait, how'd you get to Coffeyville?
It was, actually a pretty crazy story. Leaving high school, obviously I was a big recruit from in the city, and I didn't make a test score with the ACT and didn't even really know about the SAT. I think I should have gave that a shot, but didn't really get to pass the test and all the way to get qualified for college. And I think I was out with my friends, like playing like 7-on-7 pickup or something, and I got a call from the coach at Coffeyville, and he was like, "You want to come out to Coffeyville to play football?" And I was like, I mean, I ain't got no other choice. So, yeah, I'll come out there.
Were you recruited by Memphis and or Tennessee?
I was not, no.
What's wrong with those people?
Hey, that's their scheme.
Big miss.
All right.
Big miss.
Okay.
It says while you earned junior college All-American honors there.
Yes.
That's true. Okay. 2016, you transferred to Boise State University.
Yes.
All right. As a junior, you appeared in 12 games and you started 5. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
All right. It says.
Hold on.
Okay.
Had you seen a Boise game on television before you went there?
No.
What'd you think the first time you saw the blue field?
In person, I mean, I seen it on the NCAA football game, but in person, and I was when I was in person, I was like, I'm really on the blue turf. I was like, this looks pretty cool. And then the crowd it's not ever packed like at capacity, but they're loud. And I was on the field doing that, and then just being around the guys like for the recruiting visit and all that. I was like, I think this is where I want to be, even though it's far from home.
Interesting. Okay, commence.
Not a lot left. There's a lot here, but I'm going to give you the cliff notes. It says you threw a 61-yard touchdown pass against Utah State.
Yep.
That's true. Okay. And then
Look at that little smile. He still wants to throw some more.
He does, doesn't he? We know about your personal career. Let's skip to your personal life. It says your father, Cedric Wilson Sr., was a wide receiver in the NFL for 7 years with the 49ers and the Steelers.
Yes.
So that's true.
That's true.
Well, there you go. That's what Wikipedia says on Cedric Wilson Jr.
All right, they did okay. They not perfect, but
No.
but they did okay. Okay, we're going to move the microphone in just a minute. Questions from our audience and more from us for number one in your program, number one in your heart, Cedric Wilson, when we continue on the Cowboys Hour.
And over at our friends at the Omni Frisco Hotel, you can kick off your stay at the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys with style. Cool off in the elevated pool, savor upscale comfort food at neighborhood services, and enjoy all the dining and entertainment options the Star has to offer. Visit omnihotels.com/Frisco to learn more and turn the next home game into a weekend getaway.
That would be this weekend.
That would be this weekend.
We'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
And welcome back, Brad Sham, Shannon Gross, and our special guest, number one, Cedric Wilson, tonight in the Legends Lounge. We'll be back next week on Monday, the South Concourse of the Ford Center.
Cedric, do you want to use what the pros use?
I definitely want to use what the pros use.
All right, great. Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. There we go.
Outstanding.
Threw you a curveball there.
We should be supplying. Some
have goodie
Jack
bags.
Black. Shouldn't we?
We should. I agree.
For our guests
and the hosts. That's some good,
Why
good
sure.
smelling stuff, Brad.
Why sure? Why not? Okay.
Shameless plug.
We have people waiting, lined up at the microphone to grill Cedric Wilson within an inch of his still young life. So let's take it away.
All right, my name's Bill Cedric. I'm wondering, like after a game yesterday, the adrenaline going in me as a fan. I know I was at the game, and after the game, I couldn't sleep all night. Seriously, I've been up all night, have not been asleep yet. At you as a player, does the adrenaline still keep pumping after the game? Do you have a hard time going to sleep, stuff like that?
Bill, to tell you the truth, the adrenaline is probably gone. The body aches start to come after the game. They feel a little better with a win, and usually hurts a little more with a loss. But, yeah, the adrenaline's gone pretty much because tomorrow, we're looking forward to the Panthers.
Yeah. By the way, the people like the trainers, the equipment men, the PR staff, they also didn't sleep all night. Yeah. You couldn't see Joe Trahan's face when you said, I haven't been to bed all night. And Joe went, yeah, so, me too. So what? We're just grinding on.
Get you some sleep, Bill.
Yeah, no kidding. Cheer down, Bill. Go ahead.
Hey, my name is Corey. I was at the game also, so that was a great win. I felt like the crowd was awesome. But my question is, what do you feel is one of the biggest contributing factors for the high rate of Boise State players being drafted and the productivity in the NFL? Like, you, Kellen, Tank, Crawford, I think Avery Williamson from Atlanta Falcons.
Van Der Esch, don't forget Van Der Esch.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. See?
Right. I feel like for most of the people that of course, like the guys like me and DeMarcus, landed there from JUCO. The way they accept JUCO guys and pretty much transform us to get ready for for the profession of football, like the business side of it. They do a great job because coming out of JUCO is a total different mindset than being in a Division I football facility. And I feel like they definitely taught me and obviously Tank how to be professional. Whether we're going to play football or not, you're going to come to Boise to get an education. And like most of the guys that obviously didn't get to make it to the NFL, they pretty much have an easy job in Boise because they know how to talk to someone or they have a work ethic to do it. And then for all the other guys that spent 3 or 4 years in the program, I can only imagine what they learned in the time being out there. But just the overall school pretty much gets people ready for everyday life, not just football program.
Can you give us a little more detail about the transition from junior college to Boise? What kind of an eye-opener that was?
I feel like I tell this story a lot, but it was hard probably the first semester. Coming from Memphis, Tennessee to Coffeyville, there was nothing. But I went with my best friend. So made the best out of that, and then to move all the way across the country I didn't know anyone. I'd never been around. I've lived in California before, but I didn't really know how California people acted, Washington people, like everybody on that side of the world. So it was a big culture shock the first semester, and then I just remember calling my mom every day like, how did I come all the way out here? And you really let me come all the way out here.
And what'd she say?
And she was like, you chose this, so you better make the best of your opportunity. And after that, I became more open to talking to people because, I feel like I've had the same group of friends. I've usually met like one friend at each level of football. So I started just opening up, talking to people in my class, talking to people in the community of Boise. So that was one of the things that I feel like I needed to go to Boise to open up and actually talk to people and be able to have a conversation and not just talk to my friends or family members. And the transition was hard, but much needed if I'd have to say.
Interesting. Was it less difficult going from Boise to the NFL here because of the nature of that transition, do you think?
Yeah, Boise. From Boise to the league was much easier transition than Coffeyville to Boise, because one, I mean, I went out to a city that I didn't know anyone, had to go to school, go to ball, and succeed. And then when I came here, I only had ball, so I didn't have to stress about school and the big city that I didn't know anybody in once again. But obviously there's much more to do in Dallas than there is in Boise. And then open up, talk to people, learn stuff, and just keep being successful. Like,
interesting. So interesting. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
A long walk to get
Yeah,
to
he
the
gave himself a long walk.
Yeah.
Gave himself a long walk.
Yeah, hey, Cedric, congrats on the win. Also, I was at the game yesterday. We got 3 in a row.
What's your name, man?
Ansar. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Quick question. Last week being a divisional game, do you guys have any different approaches you take when preparing? Like in the media where you're hearing with Philly getting their custom T-shirts or whatever, is there any difference when you're preparing for a game against a Philadelphia or New York versus Carolina?
I mean, to me, no. I didn't even know anything about the T-shirts, or I still don't know what you're talking about with the T-shirts. But obviously we know, like, in the profession that we do, we know what division games mean. You win all of those, that's what the objective is. But I don't feel like there's any different preparation from our side of it. Obviously, the media will make it a bigger deal for the division games because they are more important. But for us, we're trying to win every game that we go out there and play.
Thank you. Shannon, do you find that interesting that clearly nobody on the coaching staff or in the equipment room or anything else made a big deal of it to the player? So the Eagles' new head coach, Thursday maybe last week, came to his daily media briefing wearing a T-shirt that he had given them all out to all the teams that said "Beat Dallas" with the helmet logos of both teams. It's just a little unusual for a professional head coach to be doing with a bunch of grown men, and but so clearly nobody made an issue of it to you guys.
I mean, no, I didn't know anything about it, but I mean, I'm sure for him, I mean, you do everything you do to get your team prepared for a big game or routed up. So to them, it was probably like one of those things. I'm sure, I mean, like we have like Ubuntu hats that we've came up with for special teams that mean stuff to us. So I'm not sure if he made that to like spark something or if he made that just to get their team routed up. I'm not.
Sounds like Ced had some real good media training from our PR staff.
Sounds that way to me too.
Joe Trahan should be proud.
Yeah, sounds
Ced
that
did
way.
good. I know nothing about nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've never heard of this T-shirt of what you speak. I know nothing, but I bet they won't. I'll bet that coach won't wear a Beat Dallas T-shirt next time when they play him again.
I had a question for you since nobody's at
Yes.
the mic. What's your favorite part of the game?
Winning. That's the best part of it, winning.
Do you enjoy practice? Do you enjoy game day? Do you enjoy the preparation? Do you enjoy pregame? Like what's your favorite parts of, outside of winning, obviously?
Let's see. Probably when practice pays off, when you realize like, oh, I did that in practice and I just did it in the game. That's probably the biggest relief. That's probably my best part of the game. So
is learning, executing in practice, and then seeing it pay off in the game?
Yeah, seeing something that you did in practice and it didn't work, so then you try to do something different and it works.
And has there been any kind of magic around the way Kellen's play calling has seemed to almost everything he touches turns into yards right now? Do you guys just stand there and say, okay, bring us our next 2 first downs right now, please?
I think Kellen prepares, so I'm pretty sure he probably prepared for a 700-yard game and only got, 300, 400. So probably to him he wasn't successful.
It looked pretty successful to the rest of us. Thank you for, on a short week, for being with us on Victory Tuesday. Thank you for contributing to Victory Tuesday with your first touchdown of the year. Cedric Wilson,
sir.
Everybody. Shannon, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Long, short night for everybody. Next week on Monday, back in the South Concourse of the Ford Center on the Cowboys Hour.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?